Turning now to civil rights activist and U.S. Congressman John Lewis, who has passed away at the age of 80. Lewis, along with Martin Luther King Jr., led the Civil Rights March on Selma, Alabama in 1965. Both men, along with thousands of others, working to bring about desegregation and calling for racial equality. Lewis announced in December he had stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Often called the conscience of Congress, he represented Georgia's 5th District since 1987. The mayor of Atlanta announcing today the city will lower flags indefinitely to honor Lewis. Lewis's impact seen across the country and right here in East Tennessee. He visited Clinton in 2006 for the grand opening of the Green McAdoo Cultural Center, honoring the Clinton 12. That is the group of 12 students who entered the front door of an all-white high school in 1956, making it the first desegregated public high school in the South.
And I followed the drama of Clinton, Tennessee. I followed the drama here. You inspired us to stand up. And Dr. King would say, when a man stand up and straighten up his back, no one can ride it. You stood up. Thank you for standing up. Thank you for getting in the way.
Lewis was the youngest and last survivor of the Big Six civil rights activists. He organized marches and sit-ins, actions that inspired others to speak out. The world lost another civil rights activist within the same 24 hours, Reverend CT Vivian. Local leaders remembering their lives and legacies tonight. WATE 6 on Your Side reporter Kirsty Crawford continues our coverage.
They were very deliberative. They were both extremely nonviolent. And their concern was not for themselves, but for the welfare of the nation and the people.
Dedicated, selfless, fearless. Just a few words to describe Congressman John Lewis and the Reverend Dr CT Vivian, both passing away on the same day. Two of Knoxville's civil rights activists, Reverend Harold Middlebrook and Dewey Roberts II, were friends of Lewis and Vivian, their memories going all the way back to Selma, Alabama.
Jim Clark, the sheriff, just turns around and with this billy club just hits him in the face. And he's bleeding, but he keeps talking. One of the things about CT is he talked fast because he had a lot to say.
They just had that energy. I can't explain it, but it was something about them that made them different. And the fact that they were able to go ahead and do things without fear. There was no fear then.
They say the current civil unrest is not unlike what they went through in the 60s. Middlebrook saying the difference, Vivian and Lewis saw the full picture of what the future should look like.
The young people now, they have the fervor, and that's important. But make sure you can define where we're going, how we're going to get there, and when do we know we're there.
The two late civil rights leaders coming to East Tennessee several times over the years, sharing their wisdom. Both Vivian and Lewis helping with Knoxville's Martin Luther King Jr. celebrations. Roberts and Middlebrook saying the world won't be the same without the civil rights icons, but they know their messages of not putting people down, but instead surviving together will live on.
Even though both of those icons have left, their ideas, and what they do, what they did at that time, will continue with us. So.
I don't know that we have a voice that is as respected as John Lewis's or CT Vivian's that can push the way they did. And so the nation is going to miss both of these gentlemen significantly. I miss them already.
Kirsty Crawford, WATE 6 on Your Side.
Kirsty, thank you. And the Tennessee Black Caucus of state legislators saying they joined the world in mourning the passing of John Lewis and Reverend CT Vivian. Knoxville's Rick Staples saying, quote, their legacy is that of true servant leadership. Their light will shine forth, guiding us through as the TBCSL fights on to defeat systemic racism. Senator Lamar Alexander saying, quote, 60 years ago, he was a Fisk University student in Nashville protesting laws that did not allow him to sit at lunch counters because of his race. He died a member of the United States Congress and a winner of the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Tennesseans are grateful that he helped us understand better the meaning of equal opportunity.